How do you decide what to wear, what to eat, or how to solve a tricky math question? All of that falls under cognition, a term in psychology that refers to the mental processes involved in gaining knowledge and understanding. In simple terms, cognition is how we think. It includes processes like attention, perception, memory, language, problem-solving, and decision-making. It's what allows us to make sense of the world and act on it. Let's break down some of the most important aspects of cognition. First, let's talk about schemas. A schema is a mental framework, a way of organizing knowledge and making sense of new information. For example, you have a schema for what a birthday party looks like: cake, candles, gifts, people singing. Schemas help us interpret situations quickly, but they can also lead to biases or stereotypes if they're too rigid or based on limited information. Schemas were studied extensively by psychologist Jean Piaget, who explored how children develop them through a process of assimilation, fitting new info into old schemas, and accommodation, adjusting schemas to fit new info. Next, let's look at problem solving. Problem solving is the mental process of finding a solution to a challenge. Psychologists recognize several common strategies: trial and error, trying different solutions until something works; algorithms, step-by-step procedures that guarantee a solution, like a math formula; heuristics, mental shortcuts that save time, but don't always guarantee the right answer. For example, to guess a Wi-Fi password, trial and error would take forever. But using a heuristic, like trying the company name, might work faster. While heuristics are useful, they can also lead to cognitive biases, errors in thinking. Two common biases are: availability heuristic. We judge how likely something is based on how easily we can recall examples. If you've heard a lot about plane crashes in the news, you might overestimate how dangerous flying is. Confirmation bias. We look for information that supports what we already believe and ignore what doesn't. This happens a lot in politics and on social media. These biases were studied by psychologists Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, who helped create the field of behavioral economics, which examines how people make real-world decisions, often irrationally. Now, let's explore decision-making. Decisions can be simple, like choosing a snack, or complex, like picking a university. Psychologists suggest that we use a mix of logic, emotion, and intuition. Sometimes, we use rational decision-making, weighing pros and cons. Other times, we rely on intuition, a gut feeling, especially when we don't have all the information. Research shows that emotion plays a big role in decisions. The prefrontal cortex helps us think rationally, but the amygdala processes emotion, and the two often work together. When the emotional and logical parts of our brain conflict, it can lead to indecision or regret. Speaking of regret, studies show that too many choices can actually make us less happy, a phenomenon known as the paradox of choice. This was studied by psychologist Barry Schwartz, who found that having more options can lead to anxiety, second-guessing, and dissatisfaction. So how can we improve our thinking? Psychologists suggest metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. Reflect on how you make decisions. Challenging cognitive distortions, like "I always mess up," or "nothing ever goes right." Practicing mindfulness, which can reduce impulsivity and increase clarity. Cognition is at the core of everything we do, from learning and working, to navigating relationships and solving daily problems. Understanding how we think gives us the power to think better. In the next video, we'll explore language, how we understand and communicate through words, a unique and powerful part of human cognition.